Hey, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Wednesday, January the 9th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and it was really just another slow, boring day. Not many entries, definitely not many good entries. There really were one, two, three, four. I meant to mark this one in green because it's a little more risky. So those were the four that I really liked. But let's talk about each one. It's going to be pretty quick tonight because there's just not much happening. I'm a little late getting this done. I had some other things going on in the office here. This kind of kept me distracted. I meant to have this done already. So I'm going to work through it pretty quick. It isn't going to take very long because there just wasn't much happening. But this was really the setup of the day. This double bottom right here. This was a great place I like to use limit orders and drop it right here where they got these matching lows and this double bottom. And it's set up perfectly. Prices tick lower, one tick lower, turned up, and it was off to the races to the upside. And, what you want to do is try and exit, once you reach the upper side. And if you drew that right off the top, there it is right there. And so a great place to exit here. Definitely on this one because this is really a failed break higher here. There was no real setup to go short. And you notice we ran up one more time, and then that was the most the market could stand. So, but anyway, a chance to make yourself 3 or 4, maybe 5 points, depending on how you manage that. But this was a great setup, and it was too risky. This is really a two-legged pullback to the EMA, and if you took this, it meets our criteria. I don't like it. It's not a very good setup. You're getting long way up here near the highs, but it would have worked, and most of those two-legged pullbacks to the EMA in a trending market, and this is definitely an upward trending market. You can see that it's continued on from yesterday. So no reason to completely ignore that, and maybe I should have marked it in a green circle, meaning that it was a good trade, but a little bit risky. And then coming back down, you didn't want to go short here because of all this overlap, and you see what happened. Prices broke lower and snapped back. But when that turned and closed down on its low like that, very bearish bar, after 3 pushes to a new high and 2 failed breaks higher, that's a pretty good place. You got to figure we're probably coming back to the trend line now at least, and you might even see a trend line break since we had a couple of overshoots there, and we did indeed see the break. So easy scalp, nothing more than that because prices came right back. And you actually had a chance to go long here on the second entry. No good long setup here. That's not a very good setup, but when it pulled back and then you got these little matching lows. Let me back out where that's a little easier to see. And you got some matching lows. You tick lower, turned up. So you could have gone long here because you got to figure we're retesting the high. And this is basically a double bottom across here. So not a bad place to think about getting long. That's all you got out of it was a scalp, nothing more. And you might have even got shaken out of that one early. And if you did, I don't blame you. But when we broke higher one more time here and turned out, that's a really bearish bar. And so you could have gone short right there. You got enough room really to come back down and make a new low here. And you got to figure with that failed break there that maybe we're not going to retest that high, that prices couldn't muster it up. So, but with that big a bearish bar, the best way to do it is to drop a limit order, a tick or two back in here. And you could have dropped it as much as 3 ticks into that bar and it would have gotten filled. And that's kind of how I did it. I just dropped a limit order in there. And it did back up and fill my order. And then it dropped rather quickly. It went a little further than I was expecting because I was expecting it to bounce off of this line coming down through here. And that's really how I got another reason that I like this turn down, because I drew it off these lows first and then drug it up, and you can see that how it fits in there. And so when we turn twice right there at that area. You know, I was hoping we were going to come on back down. I really thought we'd touch the lower end right in here, but we came way all the way down here. And so this was a pretty good trade right here, a chance to make 3 or 4 points again. And any runners would have been safe if you entered here. And you might have even considered entering here. This is a breakout pullback short is what that basically is. It's a very bearish bar, but it's getting really close down here. So I didn't like it enough to add on, and I don't think if I didn't get in up here, I don't believe I would have entered here because it's too close to these bottoms, these matching lows. And you see it did snap back momentarily before it turned down again. And then you don't want to be going long in here because the market's really trying to sell off. There was a two-legged move, but this move is much stronger than this one. And so there's a chance that you're going to continue to move down, and it really does look like we got a channel there by this point. So I was looking for the chance to get short. And you could have gone short below this bar or this bar, so I kind of drew the circle a little wider. This one was a second entry short. This one would have been a first, but there's a failed break. It came right off that trend line. It's fairly bare. It's you know, a really bearish bar. You would have had to ride it out just a minute, but you know, stop would have been safe up here above the signal bar. But you could have entered either place there, and you actually this was not a bad one to add on here because that's like a little breakout pullback short as well. And you're looking for prices to come back down to the lower side again, and that's exactly where we went. You'd want to look to exit down here, especially once you start to see the overlap. Good time to just get out. And that was it for the day. By that time, you know, by the time you got another setup up here, it's well after 4:30, and you don't want to be going long here. It's just too risky because now the market's trending down. And we really spent most of the day trending down because this all happened in the first 30 minutes, and the rest of this happened through the rest of the day. And again, there's just not much volume. There's not much movement. The markets are just in limbo, really. Hopefully, you know, a lot of times in January, we really start to get some good moves, especially when everybody's coming back from the holidays. But I think people are just really scared and leery of the market right now with the economy the way it is and all the things going on. So, but when you just when you least expect it, the market will take off and trend like crazy, like it did on the New Year's Eve. And so maybe we'll get one of those soon. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. And actually, since I got a couple of minutes, I'll say this. I get a lot of questions about the tick charts. And let me just say this for those. Usually, I've already answered a couple of emails. I think I've gotten 3 or 4 emails in the last couple of days asking about tick charts. You will not get your tick chart just to look just like mine, nor will anybody else get theirs to look like mine or theirs. Or the nature of tick charts, different providers do their tick charts differently. Some of them filter the ticks and so forth. And so it's not like a time chart where if you use a 5-minute chart and I use a 5-minute chart, they're going to look exactly alike. But a tick chart is not, because it's counting the trades and it works a little bit differently. So it has to do with when you start your tick chart, how far you're looking back. There's just so many variables. And if I actually refresh my tick chart, it would change, and I'll just show you that right now. Well, it's not going to let me. Here we go. Let's see if I can refresh it and just watch it change. Reload. There it is. So I'm going to refresh my chart. This may take too long, but anyway, while I'm waiting on it to refresh, I'll finish this up. But so different data providers, in order to get a chart that even looks, really the best you can do with a tick chart is to get one where you get the same similar number of bars that I'm getting with mine, and then the patterns look the same. But your bars will never look exactly the same. And you watch, look, just keep an eye on that right there. And you see what that looks like. And when it reloads, it'll probably look different. And my setups may even look different. They may look better or worse or whatever. So especially on big bars like that and these nice reversal bars. And there we go. Let's see what it's going to look like. But what you want to do is try to get your chart where you get this, your tick chart to get the same amount of bars. And for you, it may take less than 2,000 or it may take more than 2,000 ticks, but just keep playing with it until you see it. See, that bar looks even better right there now. And that bar doesn't look as good. You can see that it ended as a doji. This still looks the same. And this looks a little bit different right in here. But it did change my chart, and you can see that now. And you can see that setup. I wouldn't have taken that setup above that doji right there, even though it would have worked. Where a while ago I had a green bar that closed almost up here. So you can see that you know it's just impossible to get two tick charts that look the same. So don't be too concerned. Just make sure you get the same number of bars for the most part during the day, and that your patterns look the same. And you know, even though you don't get a good setup in one spot that looks good, you may get a better setup somewhere else that I didn't get. So, and it all works out at the end of the day. But just wanted to say that because I probably get that question more than anything, is people think that their tick charts, you know, they want to know why theirs doesn't look exactly like mine, but it's just the nature of tick charts. So be aware of that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.